Hi my friends, it's Eliza, and today I'm going to be filming a video about how me and my husband met. So I've been married for almost 8 years and 10 years together. So right now we're all in like kind of self-quarantine. We have to stay home. So instead of cleaning the house, I thought it would be best to play with makeup. I rarely put on makeup other than maybe eyeliner sometimes, and I really haven't been wearing eyeliner in the last year, and just lipstick. That's pretty much me sometimes, and blush. That's it, lipstick and blush. But I was gifted this Morphe palette. If you guys can see, it's the Morphe Jaclyn Hill collection, I guess. It looks like this. You guys can see. And I've only used that color so far. So today I wanted to kind of swatch these and see how they look and play with makeup and be a girl. Not that you're not a girl, since especially me, I don't really play with makeup at all. Alright, we're back. And then I have this little e.l.f. Primer, so I'm gonna put that on my lids, and let me get my mirror. It's right here, so I'm gonna look down a lot because just the mirror's right here. Okay, so before I get started, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm not a makeup artist. I don't put on makeup. I only got this because it's a gift. That's why I have it. So other than that, I don't really play with makeup. I have this other, this is my only other palette. You can see like I use only one color. That's me. So I think I'm gonna wear a little bit of both. Because I don't know, we'll figure it out. Anyways, the way me and my husband met, so I'm using the Poof one right now. So we met in July. We met at church. We were doing a church project, helping to fix one of the YMCA's. And we were painting all day, and we were doing some classes on bettering ourselves, and so we took this first class, and it was given by this sheriff or policeman in that city, and he was just going over a few things, and I just noticed CJ there with this one girl. I thought maybe they were brother and sister. I didn't know who they were, but later on that day we ended up going outside, and we were going to paint. So while we were waiting on getting our paint, CJ came to me and started talking about, actually I'm going to use some tape, started playing this one game with a group of us. And so we met and we were playing this one game, like a clapping game with a bunch of people, and so it was whatever. I didn't really pay attention to him that day though. I didn't really care. He wasn't even my type. I was actually flirting with a bunch of other people, just not CJ. But the next day we had church service, and this was like a kind of a big gathering. It was several cities of all young adults meeting together for this one church service. And so after the church service, we all had a dinner. We had been fasting that morning, having spaghetti, and I was flirting with this one guy who was sitting he was sitting right next to me, and I was at the end of the table, and it was just rows and rows and rows and rows of people. And across from me there were other girls, and the day before we all had name tags, and I remembered him from being there. So while I was talking to this other guy, I saw CJ pass by, and I was saying hi to everyone. The day before, one of the classes that I took was on building relationships and how to find the one and blah blah blah. And at that time I had been, let's back up a little bit before that, I had been with somebody for 4.5 years. A much older person, a lot older than me at that time, but we were kind of drifting away, and I had started kind of redating. We were kind of on off terms, but we were still talking, and it was just weird. Anyways, so we were together, and I was praying that in one of the church services or church study groups that we were doing, one of the person that was teaching the class talked about praying about the person that you're going to marry. That's a good thing to pray. It is a heavenly thing to pray about who is going to be your eternal companion. So I was praying and praying, and I kept praying that and I kept hoping that my answer was going to be my ex-boyfriend, that it was definitely somehow going to work out between me and him, and we just want to end up together eventually. So I kept praying and praying and praying. Anyways, during that class that I was taking, back to that class, how does this look? Good. During that class, this lady, she was a therapist, or she was a psychiatrist, and she mentioned that the best way to meet someone is to make friends. Make friends with girls, guys, whoever, it doesn't matter. That would help. And during that weekend, I ended up making a lot of friends, guys, girls, just like I made friends with everyone. And I'm kind of that kind of person, like I literally talk to everyone. I somehow like end up knowing people that probably, like even at work, wouldn't think that we would talk together, but we end up being friends. So that next day when we were eating dinner, he passed by me, and I'm like, oh, hey, CJ. And he's like, hi. He's like, and he just looked puzzled. I'm like, you don't recognize me? And he's like, no. And I say, like, we go way back, like way back. You don't remember me? I thought we were friends. And he just looks super puzzled. And again, just reminding you guys, I was talking to this one person. This one person is more of like what I would say was more of my type. I thought he was good looking. Anyways, he ended up being my friend, so he doesn't matter. But still is my friend. But thankfully, CJ came by and he sat down. So again, I was at the edge of the table, and he comes and sits right here. And again, there's other girls in front of me, and he was talking to the other girls, and he's like, where do I know you from? I don't remember knowing you. And I'm like, yeah, we've been friends for a while. And he just sits down. He's like, I don't know. And then I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, it was just from yesterday. We just met yesterday. Remember, we were playing this game and we had this class together. And he's like, oh, okay. And at the same time, his ex-girlfriend, or then girlfriend comes, and that girl that he was with the other day, the day before, comes, and she comes up behind him, grabs his face, makes out with him, and then looks at me. And I was like, what was that? Like, he's not even my type. I was just talking to him. And that's the first thought that came to my mind. Like, he's not even my type. What are you doing? And yeah, I didn't know that CJ was my type. And oh, CJ is my husband. And so I don't know what I'm doing with this. So I didn't know he was my type. Anyways, the day ends. I ended up going home. Blah blah blah. And not 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, it was my friend's birthday, and she ended up renting this like little area, and she ended up renting this little area and little hall and having a DJ, and she invited me. So I said, yeah, I'll go after work. And I got off relatively pretty early, and I'm the kind of person that just wants to like have fun, and the party was a little dead when I went there, and nobody was dancing. And so I'm like, no, we're gonna dance. So I ended up grabbing like everybody's hand, and I'm like, come on guys, like let's dance. It's party time. And so I started dancing with my husband and a bunch of girls and guys and his other guy friends, and I just got like everyone involved. And then and one of the dances, he like turns me, but like I don't know what he did, and I like elbow him in the eye. And so yeah, I ended up hitting him in our first dance, and that's how he fell in love with me. But really, back to the story. At the end of the dance, so at the end of the dance, we finished talking once like the DJ stopped talking. We kept talking, and I told him, hey, just wanted to tell you your girlfriend's kind of weird. And she was giving me dirty looks. He's like, yeah, that's why I broke up with her. And I'm like, oh, really? So yeah, and that weekend we were gonna have this church dance at the beach. And so I asked him, hey, are you gonna go to that beach dance? And I was asking him and his other guy friend, and he's like, yeah, definitely gonna go to that beach dance. And it was a really nice dance, and our church actually holds like super nice dances. We both were gonna get off of work at I think 9, and that day I ended up picking up my friend on top of everything. I had to go out of my way, go pick her up. I don't like how this looks. Go pick her up, and then drive back the opposite way, because somebody else volunteered me. Thank you, that one person. You know who you are. I don't talk to you anymore. But anyways, yeah, she ended up volunteering me to go pick her up, even though I was gonna get off at 9. And so when we were there in the dance, we were like, it was super fun. It was just out in the middle of nowhere at the beach. Literally no houses, no nothing. It's just the beach. And so we ended up going down. They had like this really good DJ was playing. I remember that. And we were all dancing. And I ended up telling my husband, like when we were there, we were like, let's start a mosh pit. I don't know, I was acting weird, and like I pushed him, and like we were just dancing, and then all of a sudden, you know, we we get out for a little bit. And my thing is, like, I'm a big beach person. For anybody that knows me or has followed me on Instagram knows I go to the beach almost every day. So if I wasn't in quarantine right now, I would be at the beach right now. So we ended up going like off to the side, and we were talking for a little bit, and I just told him I just need to touch the water because it's not really going to the beach if you don't touch the water. So I touched the water, and then we walked back, and at that time a bunch of cops came. It was like 11 at night, and the dance was supposed to end at 12. And so so it was supposed to end at 12, and then you just see a ton of people just run towards their car, and the cops say, "We're gonna start giving out tickets. You guys are all parked illegally." And so everyone runs to their car, and I start going to my car, and so he walks me to my car, and he asks if he can have my number, and I'm like, yeah. And so I give him my number, and he already had my phone number. So I guess because he had connected Facebook to his phone, and it saved my number on there, blah blah blah. Yeah, sure, whatever. And so yeah, I ended up really liking him. And then during that time, actually, let me backtrack that a little bit. So before that, and while we were still kind of walking around the beach, one of our friends was there, and we ended up saying, hey, she ended up telling me, hey, do you like this other one of my husband's friends? And I'm like, he's all right. I'm like, but you know, I'm kind of like a little bit more interested in CJ, and if you were to ask me out, I'd go out with him. You know, with either one. And I kind of wanted to get out of my type at that time, because my husband was not my type at that time, or what I thought was not my type. So we ended up again walking to my car. He ended up walking me to my car while everyone was running, and I thought that was super sweet. So he asked for my number, I give it to him, he already had it, and then so I kept like smiling on my way back home, and my husband ended up dropping off that friend that I ended up picking up because it was on his way to his house. And so I was just really thinking about the relationship I was in. Me and my ex had a plan to go to Las Vegas the following weekend, and he kept doing that kind of thing. So we would like break off but still be friends, and he would always plan a trip or invite me somewhere, like, let's go to Six Flags, let's go to this. And I had never been to Las Vegas at that time, and so he's like, let's go to Vegas for the weekend, and I'll get you your own room, blah blah blah. And he would do that. Like, he wasn't like super, well, he was probably creepy because he was like way older than me, but he was sweet, he was totally respectful. And so, but he would just do something so that I could fall in love with him every single time. And so that's the day that I officially broke up with him. And I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I need to break up with you, because if I don't break up with you right now, I'm not gonna give anybody a chance. You don't want to marry me. And I was so young. I was only 24 then, and I thought I had to be married by then. And I'm like, you don't want to marry me? We've been together for 4.5 years, and nothing's going on. So I break up with him. It was really, really hard to break up with him. He was like a really, really nice person. I have nothing bad to say about him, other than I wasn't the one for him. And that was really, it really sucked. It really, really, really sucked, because he's nice. I have nothing bad to say about him other than he didn't want to commit to me. He didn't want to be with me. And that's okay. It's okay not to like somebody. And anyways, back to the story. So the next day, my husband texts me. The next day he ended up texting me, and he texted me, so hey, I heard that you like my friend, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no. And now that my husband knows me, he's like, yeah, that's not even kind of your type at all, like not even a little bit. And he's not bad looking, he's just like, my husband's more of my type. Like, especially then, I liked him way more. I already started having a little crush on him then. So then we kept talking, and so he was texting me and saying, yeah, this other girl ended up, the one that I was talking to the night before, ended up telling him that I actually had a crush on his friend, and he texted me, and he's like, oh, I hear you like my friend. And I'm like, no. What I said is, if you or your friend were to ask me out, I would go out on a date with you. And it totally went over my husband's head. He's like, oh, so you like my friend? And I'm like, no. And I said it again, but he didn't get it. Anyways, we started to go on a bunch of group dates, and we were hanging out constantly together, because again, I made friends with a lot of his friends, and we just, yeah, one of his guy friends, like, we ended up, at that time, we were like really good friends, so we would go to his house a lot and just hang out. And one night he ended up asking me to go kind of like on a group date or group hangout at that moment, and it was so much fun. We ended up watching, what is it called, the A-Team, the A-Squad A-Team? No, the A-Team. Such a romantic movie. And so yeah, again, we met in July. 2 weeks later, we talked at the beach dance, and then we started like hanging out constantly, almost pretty much every single day. And some of our friends end up hooking up and becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, but not me and my husband. My husband was like, no, I just got out of a relationship. And he didn't mean the girl that like did that crazy face. He actually had gotten out of a previous relationship and was just barely with that other girl for like a month and a half, which I wouldn't even say that was his real girlfriend. But yeah, he had gotten out of another very serious relationship with this other girl, and he just wanted to be kind of single for a little bit. Ooh. So whatever, I kept talking to other people at the same time, and he knows like several of our like close friends really liked me, and or not close friends, but like common friends. We had a lot of common friends that liked me too. But we keep going with the friendship. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it looked like I got hit. I don't know how high school girls do this. Like, guys, I'm serious. I'm like actually trying to do a good job. I'm just really horrible at this. So we end up going on a bunch of group dates, and we get to know each other a little bit better. We started talking, and he just kept on kind of just, I don't know, he was scared or whatever. and it, like, fast forward to October when I was at my aunt's house, and I think that weekend I had like given up, because usually when people like me, they'll ask me out right away, and that wasn't the case with CJ. So he ended up like calling me and saying, hey, do you want to go out to the movies? Actually, before that, we had another group friend like thing going on, and a bunch of people were supposed to go and nobody ended up going, and I ended up inviting my brother so that he can like talk to this other girl and I can talk to CJ. And yeah, so nobody turned up, so it was just me, my brother, and my husband, who's now my husband, and it was like so awkward. The week before, so yeah, that was awkward. We could have had like our first date then, but that didn't happen. And then the week before, another week before, we ended up going on a group date. And we were talking right after like the movie theater, and my husband was like literally this close, like I can feel his eyelashes. He was literally this close to me and did not kiss me. So that weekend I'm like, forget it, he's not into me. He was literally that close and did not kiss me. He's not into me, whatever, I don't care. I give up on him, I give up on these guys, blah blah blah. And so I was talking to one of my friends at the time, and I ended up telling her, you know what, I give up on everyone. Like, I like blah 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 and CJ, and nobody's like really trying to, you know, push it further. So I'm not gonna talk to anybody. I'm gonna be by myself. I'm gonna be single. And so, and then every time like me and TJ would hang out, like I would have my curling iron with me. I would have it everywhere. So if I forgot to do my hair, I would do my hair at work and then go to our friend's house. But that day I was at my aunt's house, and I was just like wearing some jeans and like no makeup, and my hair looked crazy. And so we ended up, he ended up calling me. He was like, hey, I want to go to the movies. Do you want to go to the movies? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And so we end up going, and I get there and like, where's everyone else? He's like, oh, it's just me and you. I'm like, all right. So we ended up watching the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie. And you know, again, another very romantic movie. I guess so, because she ends up killing people for her husband. So I guess that's the romantic part of it. Sorry. Oh, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, it's already been out like 100 years ago. And so then we officially went on a date, and at the end of the date we end up talking, and we were talking there for hours, like hours, and I just kept flirting with him, and I'm like, when is he like gonna kiss me? So we were there, and I don't know if we were by, I think we were by my car. I think, yeah, we were next to each other's cars. And so we were there, and so I ended up saying something to like, oh, so this was a date, right? You know, this was a date. And he's like, yeah, it was. And I go, okay. And so then, like, again, after 100 years, and he finally kisses me. So he looks to me, and we're talking. Like, by then, like, all employees were gone. We were talking that long. And even though we did watch a later movie, but like literally everyone was gone by then. There was nobody else but us two in the parking lot. And we end up, he goes to me and he goes, can I kiss you? And I go, yeah. And I've never been asked if I can get kissed. People just go for it. But he ended up kissing me. And that's how we started dating. Alright, so for the remainder of this, I'm just going to go ahead and do a voiceover because I totally stopped talking here. But yes, my kiss was on October 16th is when we had our first kiss. And then the jerk did not ask to be my boyfriend until November 1st. But for my first kiss, it was just super crazy, and I saw him in a completely different light. I saw this just goofy guy to like this romantic guy. My first kiss with him was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I fell in love with him probably that second. And I fell for him extremely hard because I kind of have always sheltered my heart. I've just been through a lot of trauma, a lot of heartache. And thankfully, I dated that person beforehand who helped me a lot to become a better person, become a better partner for my husband. And so, yeah, we were dating and I fell in love with him pretty much right away. I think within a few weeks, I told him I loved him, and that is not me at all. I kind of just shelter my heart a lot, and it was a huge deal for me to say I love you, and even more so for me to say it first to him. He didn't tell me he loved me. He did tell me he loved me actually pretty quickly as well. He ended up telling me by November 16th that he loved me as well. And by the end of November, we were already talking about getting married. We already knew that we were going to get married one day. And I just fell in love with him so fast. And in February, he ended up buying me an engagement ring. And I was so super happy about that. And we knew that we were going to get married. Unfortunately, I kept thinking that he was going to propose to me constantly. I thought at the beach, this one day we were going to get proposed for sure. This other day for sure he's going to propose to me. This other day he's for sure going to propose to me. We went to Disneyland with a bunch of our friends, and I dressed up in a dress and I was so super cute and thinking that for sure he's gonna ask me to marry him. But no, he did not. He did not ask to marry me until we went to, it was Gavin DeGraw, Train, and Maroon 5, which is one of my favorite bands. He ended up asking me to marry him then. And kind of going back to when we were back dating in November, before I even told him I loved him, I was hearing the song Marry Me, and I ended up telling him, oh, this is such a sweet song. I ended up hearing it, and I told him, if one day I get proposed, I don't mean by you, but just one day if someone proposes to me, this would be the perfect song to propose to me. So while we were at the concert, Train started singing Marry Me, and by then I had kind of given up on when he was gonna ask to propose to me. I was actually really nervous then because I don't like large crowds, and I was just thinking more about my anxiety than the concert, and I ended up calming down. And then he ended up the song started coming up, and we had a little cooler, and I hit him on the shoulder and say, "You jerk." And then I start crying because he was on one knee and he had the ring, and he said, "Will I marry you?" And what I was going to say, "You jerk, this would have been the perfect time to propose to me." But he did propose to me, and it was so super cute. He proposed to me, and it was just such a perfect moment. Everyone around us started clapping, and that was in July of the following year of when we met. And then we ended up getting married the following July.
So yeah, that's my little love story. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and like on the bottom. Yeah, like it, comment, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Before I leave, I just want to share this cute picture of us together 2 weeks after we met at that beach dance. Hope you like our love story, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.